And when you thought it couldn't get any better, it does. Welcome, everyone, to another podcast of PIM, Partners in Marriage. I'm your co-host, John Godbolt.
And I'm Vertel Godbolt.
I think the last time I said I was the host, which means I was trying to take over. So I'm trying not to be that way today, but we're working together as partners in marriage. And we're certainly glad that you decided to make this a part of your day. And if you want to know what PIM is about, just go to our website. It's partnersinmarriage.com. We got a great thing going on there, and we want you to be a part of it. All the things, our history, how we got started, the books that we have for sale, workshops that we can do, all of that's on our website. The people you can contact, that's what we do. So this is part 5 of how to express love to your spouse. And we could do this for all the way to probably part 20, but we're going to try to concise some of this and not give you all of it, but give you enough to make sure that you get your life rolling. How about that?
Yes, that's exactly right. And today we want to talk about how we make time with the two of us as a couple.
As a couple. And then also time alone.
Exactly.
Because that is as important as spending time together. Believe it or not.
It is. And I know I have a day of the week, and it's my hairdo day. Mm-hmm. And I don't usually cook on that day. I spend time at the beauty shop, and even sometimes when she's finished with my hair, I just sit and talk.
Yeah.
And I might visit somebody, and I spend time like today. I went to the gym, and after I got home and got cleaned up, I treated myself to lunch, and then I came over here. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely, I don't have to have babe on my hip everywhere.
And I don't have to call and check on you. Where are you? What you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, that clinging kind of mentality of lording over someone instead of giving them that space, which is one of the things that we want to talk about again is how to communicate that to your spouse and feeling confident that the relationship is something that is trustworthy. And I'm not going to get into a lot of that right now because as we're seeing what people are doing today and calling it marriage, I think they need a new name for that. That's not really marriage when you've already got agreements that you're going to allow your spouse and he or she allows you to have, they don't even call it an affair, a date night with someone else and whatever that means. So I don't call that quite marriage. It's something else. So we'll find another term for it. But being able to say, I have time alone and I don't feel that I'm going to be, there's going to be an issue with our marriage or that you trust me.
Right.
Or
like
I trust
on your golf day.
Yeah. I get a chance to get out there and swing the clubs. and I love it. I'm going to invite some other people to join me one day. But right now, by myself, because there is Tiger Woods and then there's me in the woods. so I like to do it by myself.
Yes.
I'm not quite that bad, but I got it in the water a couple of times. But the point here is being able to say, I can be alone and not be smothered with phone calls, texts, and whatever.
Right. Thinking that you're doing something that you're not. And that lets me know that when you have to do that, you're judging out of your own darkness.
Yeah.
And so that's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And sometimes it requires more than prayer.
Let's talk about that for a moment. Judging out of our own darkness. Kind of break that down a little bit so that our audience can get an understanding of that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, what I meant by that is sometimes you have history that happened before the relationship started, and you know what kinds of things you did or things that someone else did to you.
Right.
And those are the kinds of things that you expect. And so what you're thinking is, well, I bet they are doing this, this, and this. When that person might not even have that on their minds. But because that happened in your past, you're thinking that's what's happening now.
Exactly.
That's what I mean when I say judging out of your own darkness.
And my perception is my reality. So
Yes.
if I perceive it, that's my reality. And that's where a lot of times when marriages start to go south or they start to break up is they're not able to communicate that concern with the other. And we talked about something earlier. I'm going to do it in the couple of minutes we have right now, and that is when you're married to someone, you need to know what kind of person he or she is. Are they ADHD? How do you operate with them? Are they hyperactive? Whatever their natural propensity is, you got to operate from that location.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because you can't help your chemical imbalance as far as brain activity is concerned, and there's some legitimacy in ADHD. And so if you have a person who has ADHD, their brain won't allow them to just be still and to focus on just one thing. So if it's something that is a difficult situation that you want to talk about, their mind is going here, there, and everywhere. And so it's hard to reel it in. So think about that when you're discussing. It certainly can't be a long, drawn-out situation, a conversation. It's got to be brief and focused. So, and that's hard.
It is, and as we're talking about that, we both know when a situation where that happens, and the person is extremely intelligent, so they are processing all the time while you're talking, and if you're not quick enough to keep up with them, it's like, I give up. What's the point?
Yes.
So instead of being able to sit down and say, okay, how do I operate? Because the person you are married to, you love them, but you don't particularly like them because of the way they operate. And we must be truthful about it. There's a lot of situations where people are like that.
Exactly.
And the time alone is not necessarily because they really need it for the relationship. They need it for themselves.
Right.
Just to say, okay, if I'm going to stick in this another day, another week, another month.
Right.
Okay, we got to stop and have some counseling here to find out, okay, who am I or who are you, so we can start building a relationship.
Because when a person has that situation, they have like little reels going on in their brains, and so they're going to get upset and say, and you did this and you did that, and they can just recite it and bring it all back up.
Oh yeah.
And pointing and all that, and so that's going to put the other person on the defense. And so that's why we always say, don't attack the person, attack the problem.
I'm thinking about cases where one is sharp like that. Many times, men will pick women, quote unquote, because of the outward physical appearance. They get attracted to the physical appearance, 80% of men. And then when they start to conversate, they find that there's more to the physical feature. There are the other parts I like. She's smart. She can do this. She can do the other. And then the relationship starts to build that way. You can figure out women. You know, woman. You know what you want. But when we think about that kind of going after, and then you find out you married a genius who has reels that always run, who has a memory like an elephant. And can articulate it at a speed of light. And you're trying to say, wait, hold. Now, what I was about to say.
And you're stuttering, and they want to say, just get to the point. What? And your point being.
So I'm saying that if you're the slow one in this conversation, you might need to have some time alone and get some counseling on how to conversate with my spouse. I mean, it's important because you and I sit down. We don't have time to do this, but we'll talk about it next time. How we sit down and start talking about, okay, how I like things, what you like, and where's the meeting point? Because I can't have my way all the time, and you can't have your way all the time and call it a marriage.
Right.
It works when we find a medium, a happy medium. And that doesn't always happen in relationships. Time's gone, and this is a start. We'll be back. Just remember, marriage is not a destination. It is a journey of love.